What's up, guys? Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV as we break down Below Deck Mediterranean. We've got kissing, we've got drinking, and we've got onions. The trifecta, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Well, she's a good dancing song.
I know, right?
This makes me want to boogie.
Or kiss somebody.
Well, welcome to episode 7, Don't Cry Over Cut Onion. I am your host, Paulina Aguilar, and you guys can find me on Twitter at _Paulina Aguilar and on Instagram at Paulina M. Aguilar. And welcome my lovely co-host as we break it down.
Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Laura L. Thomas. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Laura L. Thomas TV.
All right, let's get to it. I don't think there's a lot to get to be honest. This episode was kind of wishy-washy, not much going on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this was a little bit of, we're halfway through the season now, supposedly, if we go on off of like a 14 season, 14 episode season. So we're kind of halfway through. I think they did a nice job setting up last week of the drama being the kiss with Malia and Adam and Wes, but not really a whole lot happened from there.
No, I think they concentrated more on the guests and that they're returning and then the fiasco that had happened last season. But let's get to Malia and Lauren first, because I think that was so overdrawn to what it was.
Well, it's funny because as I was watching it, I was like, I kind of wanted a reaction somewhere in between Lauren and Malia's. I didn't think Lauren fully handled the situation well, and I think Malia really had her defensive panties on. So
well, they were all intoxicated. That's the problem when
Yeah.
you're drinking, especially when you're on vacation in a beautiful place.
Right.
You know, like you drink, you have a good time, and innocent things. It was innocent. That's the thing. I think it was so blown out. It was so innocent.
Sure.
You know, that drinking gets involved and emotions run wild and they get the best of you.
Yeah, I mean, I now here's the thing though. I mean, how do you feel about Malia actually hooking up with two guys in one night?
Look, to be honest, good for her. Who cares? She's a single girl. She's young. She's beautiful. Why not? And here's what's my other point. I wrote it down in my notes. Is it a double standard, say, if a guy did it? What if it was Bobby? What if it was Adam doing it? Then guess what? Then everybody be saying, "Good job, bro. Hey, good. You know, what are you gonna do with them both?" And now you're in a pickle. And here they kind of gang up on Malia. You know, saying, "Oh, it's not a good look," and it's like, who cares?
Yeah, I do actually kind of see the point though that Lauren was trying to make though, because I do think that it's not a good look.
I think it's a bad look in the sense of that it's your coworkers.
Sure.
It's your boss. It's people that you work with. That I can see.
And you work on a boat the size of my mug. I'm going to say it every week, but this boat is tiny, guys. Yeah. So any kind of drama that's going to get stirred up is only going to be put under a microscope because you live in this tiny, you can't avoid each other. You know, it's just, that's the nature of the life that they live. And so I think that more than anything is the problem of this whole thing.
Yeah, it's her situation, because had they been out, say, New York, maybe what if it was Lauren who did that in New York?
Oh yeah, it'd be like a month before you run into somebody again. You know?
Exactly. And so to be honest, go girl, you do you. I mean, you're young and single, like I said. I don't think it's a big deal. I think this whole little like Lauren situation, it was just her drinking and be like, "Oh my God, guess what happened?" You know, that's something I'd be like, "Laura, guess what happened?" Yeah. You know, and that just gets around. It's not like she's going and talking, "No, Malia is this and Malia is that," and she didn't do that. I think it was just innocent gossip.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I kind of for the first time tonight, I kind of was on Team Lauren versus Team Malia, because I really thought that Lauren was just like, "Ooh, girl, tell us the gossip." Like, I'd be the same way.
That's what I thought.
I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, like, tell me what happened." You walk out of a room with like red lipstick smeared everywhere. Yeah. Somebody's going to say something. So I would have done the same thing that Lauren did. I would have gone to her and just been like, "Girl, tell me what's going on."
Exactly.
Or I would have gone to I would have gone to you and been like, "Paulina, did you see Malia? She like walked out of there with all that red lipstick." And I think the way that Malia blew up at her was super uncalled for.
I think she was just very uncomfortable because she seems like a very private person into herself.
Sure.
To where she is not the type to gossip.
Right.
But guess what? Everybody does. Whether you admit it or not, you do a little bit. Whether you don't say very much, you hear a little bit here and a little bit there. And, you know, she may not be that type of person, but come on, you really think no one's gonna find out?
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, if you're not that kind of person, then don't be afraid to own up to your actions, which I don't think she did. You know, like I think she
did later to Lauren when she was like,
Right.
yeah, I kissed them both.
Sure, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she hid the fact that she hooked up with both. She kissed them both that night. But the way that she handled the whole thing, I just thought was a little juvenile.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little juvenile to me. So I was really happy the next day when she went to Lauren, down in laundry, and they were like, "Can I give you a hug?" And they just kind of, water under the bridge. I think it was really big of Lauren to be like, "Hey, I'm to each his own. I'm willing to act like this never happened."
Right.
So.
Well, she seems to be doing that a lot with Bobby, and she's got her hands full.
Well, she sure does. Now, what do you think about Malia wearing Adam's hat all over the boat the next day?
Now, that's a whole different thing, because now that everybody knows, the boys both know.
Right.
Now, it's either choose one and you stick with that, you choose none, and you don't give any to the time of the day. But in this case, it kind of seems like she's playing a little bit of both.
She seems to be playing both sides of the fence for sure. And it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I think, look, she's a super cute girl, but I think it was really kind of distasteful in a way that it was almost just kind of like, when a guy sleeps over and then, he leaves his sweatshirt there and then you happen to be like walking around in it or whatever. It just seemed very, it just seemed a little bit below the belt. Like maybe a little hurtful. Again,
Yes.
a little juvenile.
No, because she did that in front of Wes, and then she rides the jet ski.
Yeah.
And Adam happens to see it. So she's not really hiding
Right.
anything.
Yeah, I mean, own up to the fact that you kissed them both, but then maybe play it a little cooler.
I'd be out of that situation and be like, nothing's happening. You
Right.
know, like I think after this point is kind of where it's like, okay, is this really going to make you look good, bad type of thing?
Right.
To where we can analyze that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess time will tell. Right now, who do you want to see her end up with?
It seems like she's more attracted to Wes,
Yeah.
to be honest. It seems
Well,
like
she's attracted to Bobby,
more
too.
into Wes than she is with Adam. And Adam seems very into her.
Yeah.
I think they're just playing a totally different game.
They really are. Now, that was going to be my next question to you. How do you break down the approach of Adam and Wes to Malia, and which side do you agree with a little bit more?
Well, Adam isn't afraid to say how he feels. He's like, no, girl, keep that hat on. I like it. And you get to be in the kitchen with me tonight, And Wes is more of like, he kind of lets her go to him.
Well, I think he has to because he's her boss. Where it gets really sticky.
Hey, but she's dated a captain, so I mean, a bosun should be nothing.
I know. Does he know that? Do we know?
I don't think he knows. I really don't think so. Do you think that would be a big factor for them?
If he
they
knew?
knew, yeah.
Well, I think if he knew that was something that's from her past, then I think he would know that it was maybe something that could work for him.
Yeah.
I think I respect the way that Wes is handling the situation.
Oh, yeah.
More than Adam.
I don't think he has a choice.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
If he wants to be a captain and move up like that, he has to keep himself clean.
Yeah. He's doing a really good job of it. Adam in this episode, I love you, Adam. I think you're adorable. I had so much fun when you were
it's
here.
coming.
Dot. You were a little shit in this episode.
No, you were. Yeah, we're going to get to the onions, all right? But just to finish that up, I think Malia's mentality is she's such a laid back, like go with the flow type of girl that's where her mentality is on the whole time she's going to be on that yacht throughout every single charter. So I don't really think she's not taking either one too serious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Girls love attention. Girls love to be flirted with. And so I think she's kind of enjoying that right now.
I think she's very much an in the moment kind of person.
Yes.
I think she's not getting ahead of herself. I think she is very much just this kind of girl that's like, "Oh, this feels cool right now. Let's try this. Oh, this feels great right here. Let's do that." I don't think she's not getting emotionally attached to anything. I don't think she's thinking long term like, "Oh, is he boyfriend material?"
I think she said that she doesn't want a relationship.
Yeah, so I think she's just living moment to moment, and you can't fault her for that.
Nope, not at all. You go, girl. Just let us know who you pick.
I know.
Everybody wants to know.
I know, we're dying over here. We're dying. Malia, let us know.
Alrighty, let's get to Hannah and Adam.
Oh gosh.
Okay, first of all, onions.
Well,
This whole onion situation is a little ridiculous.
It is, but this is the second time that we've
he's done
seen
this.
Adam do this. He did it earlier in the season with the butter. Snuck a little butter in there for the women that specifically requested that they didn't want any kind of butter or dairy, anything like that. And the question goes back again to, is it worth looking over somebody's preference sheet and going above that for the sake of taste?
No.
Right?
No, it's not, because listen, these people are paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars
Right.
to be on there for 2 nights and 3 days. That's not very long. That's a weekend, and they're spending what, $500,000? I don't even know how many, to be honest, how much they spend. But if you're gonna pay that much, I would expect my food, I don't care how picky I am,
Yep.
to be exactly the way that I want it.
Yep.
If not, then you're not worth the money, and I'm not gonna hire you. I'm not gonna come on your boat again.
Yeah, and it's not even it's not only a preferential thing. It could be an allergy thing.
Yep.
It could be, there are numerous factors going into this. So that the fact that he just keeps ignoring it, it really bothers me.
It's like going to a restaurant where they get your food wrong more than once, and X, Y, and Z, these things go wrong. You're not going to go back to the restaurant.
Yeah.
You're not going to pay that money.
And I will say that the way that the guests handled it, they
Was
could
very
have
nice.
thrown a fit.
Yep.
They could have pitched a huge fit.
Yep.
And I think the fact that they pulled Hannah aside, or they spoke to her so kindly,
Yep.
at least in what we saw, I thought that they were champions as far as how they handled the situation. So way to go, guys, because that was
agree.
impressive.
Yeah, I've seen some mean people be mad over less things, and so
And again, you're paying this amount of money. Like, if I ask for a gold turd on a plate, you better come up with it somehow.
of all the examples of the world, you had to say a
I
gold
don't know.
turd.
I'm sorry. I'm just, whatever.
Well, the thing is, it's so simple. That's what boggles the mind, is that the preference is so simple, and it's not just this one guy the main guy. This is everybody. So it's not like you have to single out one dish.
Yeah.
It's one preference, one item, one vegetable. This isn't like a gluten-free, dairy-free, diet.
Right.
So the fact that it's such a big deal and that he got so upset over it, onions, I love onions. I put onions on everything.
Sure.
So, I mean, I get that they're missing out on that taste, but that's also not.
That's not his call to make, obviously. And I don't know. I just keep going back to the fact that they're paying so much money.
And that's going to affect their tip. And if that affects their tip, that affects everybody else's tip, which means they're going to get upset over something that Adam chose to do.
Yep. And do you think that all of this went down as a reaction to the situation with Malia? Because that's what it seemed like. It seemed like he was being super childish in the kitchen.
The way that he acted, I can see that happening, being related. The fact that you choose to still put onion, no. Because he's made that decision before and said, no, I'm just going to put butter because it tastes well. That's just who he is, I think, as just a chef and wanting to create things. As far as his attitude and how he, spoke to Hannah, 100%. I think it has to do with that. Mm-hmm. Once something like that happens, it's all up in your mind.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you could tell that they were both being a little bit heady. For the rest of the chart, or the rest of the chart that we saw, at least they were both a little they shook hands and kind of hugged it off or whatever. This is far from over, ladies and gentlemen, far from over.
What about the slut comment? What do you have to say about that?
It didn't bother me. I didn't really, I didn't think it was directed at Hannah.
No.
I understand that whole mentality of when you get frustrated, you have a word or a little thing. I mean, just like I called Adam a little shit just a minute ago, I call my dog that all the time because while I love him and he's amazing and I cuddle him every night, he's a little shit.
Yeah, of course.
And so when I get frustrated with him, or when I'm in a situation specifically with him, that's the term of endearment that I'll use. Mm-hmm. And so I can see being in a frustrating situation like that and having a word that you go to sort of express that frustration.
Yeah, I don't think he was calling her that at all. His back was turned. He wasn't, as rude as he was to Hannah, he wasn't derogative in any way. He was literally, I've been mad cooking and be like, no, get in there, or no, like something, you get angry.
Yeah.
So I can totally see that happening. I think he went a little too far.
Oh yeah. Well, and honestly, I wasn't there, but I mean, it looked like if I were in Hannah's shoes, I might have taken it that way. I might have, you've been mean to him. He'd been mean to her the whole night. He'd been questioning her as a chief stew. He's been questioning her all along. He's been, butting up.
And he doesn't stop.
With Bugsy, yeah. And he's like that. Okay, again, I love you, Adam. But he is like that little brother that finds that one trigger and just pokes and pokes and pokes and pokes and pokes and pokes and pokes. And I think Hannah at this point has had enough poking.
Yeah, I probably would have blown up if I were her. I wouldn't have taken the slut comment seriously, but I would have been like, look, I don't know what your problem is. I would have said exactly what she did, probably just yelling at him about it. Yeah. Because it's true. Why are you going to get mad at Hannah, get mad at the messenger?
Yeah. Well,
it's not her fault you put onion in it. It's not your fault that he got upset. It could have been a lot worse. He could have gone to Adam himself and said something.
And at the end of the day, she's the one that's directly dealing with the guests. So she's there working her butt off to make sure, like, hand and foot, that every little detail that they need is met. And if this one person is standing in the way of you being able to do your job, it is embarrassing.
I don't think I've worked in restaurants. I don't think I've ever met a chef or a cook who's ever done that before. Like, even what we've seen in Ben in the past seasons.
Yeah. I mean, he'll get frustrated, but he'll do it.
Well, you have to. That's the thing. You have to do it. So...
It's almost like he's creating more work for himself by not doing it first and then having to go back and do it again. It's like, Adam, just do it right the first time.
What about this whole, let's see, what do we have? The slut comment. And then the boat, that's what else he got mad at. The boat got delayed. With the little...
Sure, the Tinder?
Yes, that they were supposed to go onto the waterfalls.
Well, I'm confused at whose fault that was. If that was...
That's nobody's fault.
I'm just saying, like, is it a guest thing? Is it
I think it was just... I think it's a charter or a tender that has certain times that they, that they leave and they have other guests on, and it got delayed.
Okay.
So that's not Hannah's fault. That's not Adam's fault. That's something beyond your control.
Sure. And I will say that I can see both sides of the story in that regard. I can see where Hannah would get frustrated because, he's yelling at her all of a sudden. I can also see where, like, if he's prepping all this food, which can go bad or potentially make the guest sick, maybe let me know. Hey, give me a heads up. Like, the boat's delayed.
Right.
Maybe stick the food in the fridge.
Oh, I completely agree. I think they had said something like, Hannah didn't know that it was delayed. And then Adam said something like, you should have told me once you found out, or something like that. Like, there was something going on there where she didn't know right away, and whatever, the message didn't get across.
Sure. And maybe this is all just a big miscommunication. But again, I think this is that poking situation. It's just it's like the straws are stacking up on Adam and Hannah, and like this camel is about to break.
And she's a little firecracker.
Hannah?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
So,
I mean, like it.
I think he's reaching his limit.
Yeah, I mean, and I think she's reaching hers. I think she's reaching hers with him. I think they're a little bit like oil and water right now.
Well, let's talk a little bit of the previews, because then we see that heating up a little bit, where the Bobby and... Well, no, let's not get to Bobby yet. Where Adam and Hannah still go at it, and Adam suggests Bugs be a chief stew instead.
Yeah, I think that's below the belt. I think that's super below the belt. I think he's been thinking it all along, but just because you think it doesn't mean you say it.
Yeah, that's not okay. I think he went a little too far, and that's not his place, and that's not a call to make. Yep. As long as Hannah is communicating or doing everything she can to make his life easier, and doing what she needs to do to get service out, that should be enough.
Yep. Yeah, I do too. Sky Patterson, who's watching with us right now on the live chat, he said that he just thinks that Chef Adam is very annoyed and stressed out. So I wonder why. Does it have to again go back to Malia?
Probably.
You know?
I mean, when we had him on the show, it didn't seem like he was homesick very, very much, or
No.
you know, having some of the similar issues that Lauren maybe has going on.
Right.
So I mean, maybe it is Malia. It seems like this is someone that he cares a lot about and has some feelings for. So maybe he's a little bit more invested than it looks, and so maybe that has a lot to do with it.
I think, though, more than that, I think this is about winning for Adam at the end of the day.
Beating Wes.
At the end of the day, I think I get far more the vibe of the competition vibe from Adam than I do Wes.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think
1,000%.
everything that he is doing right now is about winning Malia.
Which is not a good look.
It's not, and I think that's Sky. That would why I would say that's what I think. That's why he's annoyed, and that's why he's stressed out. And I think you just need to take a chill pill. He kept telling everybody out the whole time, like, chill, go take a walk, go take a walk. I'm like, Adam, go take a swim.
Yeah,
Go hang in your
you're right.
hammock. You know, like, chill out. You're the one that needs to chill a little bit.
Well, in the preview, we also see Malia and Bobby having a little chit chat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Bobby ain't over it.
Well, I think it's got to be a little bit of a burn to have made out with two guys and feel like you're a confident, attractive guy and just be like, just so I know, like,
You did like me, right?
Had I dipped my toe in the pool first, like, would you been into it? Like, I think
And sometimes people, that's all they need.
Yeah.
That's all they need is to be like, all right, you know, at least it wasn't me or something that I did. You know, at least you liked me and you just like somebody else better. You know, like some people just need that.
It's super validating, and I think as a confident, good-looking guy, I think it probably was a little bit of an ego rub to have two guys sail past you.
I was about to say, you know, Bobby seems like the type of guy that can get any girl he'd like. He's an attractive guy, so to have, you know, two others kind of beat him to it.
Yeah.
That's gotta sting a little
I
bit.
know.
But I think, Bobby, you're gonna be just fine.
I think Bobby
you'll
has
survive.
nothing to worry about. Who else I think has nothing to worry about, because I think he's adorable, as does Sky.
Was?
He just no, freaking Max.
Max?
I love Max so much. I think he is the cutest thing ever. I love his accent. I love his attitude. I love his demeanor. I want him to come and hang out with me all the time.
Please come here.
Please come hang out with us, Max. I would just smile from ear to ear.
You're already blushing.
I just love him so much. Everything about him, I'm a super fan of. So yeah.
All right, we got to get you on here.
Come on, Max.
But this episode, yeah, besides that, there wasn't a lot going on. Like, not that much drama, a little in the beginning, but next week,
I know. Seems like things are going to start heating up.
we're all going to have to stay tuned for that. So right now, if you had to, who do you think Malia is going to do? Not pick, because she doesn't have to pick anybody.
Right.
But who do you think she's going to do?
I think I'm still Team Wes
Team Wes?
at this point. I think I'm still Team Wes. I think just because I appreciate his approach
Yes.
more than Adam's at this point. So that's why I'm rooting for Wes.
I think she ain't going to pick anybody. I think she's just going to be, all right, I'm done. All right, I'm going to go home now at the end of the charter, at the end of the season. She's just going to go home. She's not going to
Well, sure.
be with anybody.
That's fair.
But I feel like the connection between Wes and Malia is a little bit more genuine, and it's not as aggressive.
Authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
As far
too.
as the situation with Adam. But I mean, Adam, you have nothing to worry about either. So I think
No.
you guys will be just fine.
You're adorable, and you're going to be just fine. Can we also talk about these guests and how much vodka they drink?
Oh my gosh, 20 bottles.
Yeah.
It takes me, I don't know how long to get through one bottle.
I applaud you. I think that's impressive. I want to teach me your
Learn.
ways.
Right?
Because I have no idea how. I want to see a shot of your liver. I'm so impressed.
That is insane. I don't think I've ever met anybody. Like, I thought my family drank a lot. But,
Yeah.
drinks all these beer. But I guess not, because the vodka, that's hard.
Yep.
Hard liquor?
I know.
Ooh, I'd be gone in I don't know how long.
And all that wine, too. I was just like, ooh.
And
you
to
guys
be in that sun,
Oof.
and it just burns you out.
dehydrated
Dang.
the whole time. You guys, hands down to you. They do seem like really fun guests. They were my favorite guests so far.
Oh, yeah.
This
definitely.
season.
Well,
Yep.
we're going to have to see if they have another threesome, foursome, fivesome, I
Yep.
don't know what some.
Sky likes to think that the guests were a hot ass mess.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And they're
yeah.
not done.
Nope.
And
we
they
just
are
saw
not
half
done.
of their adventure. And they're crazy. The crazy stuff is happening next week, right? With all of the like team stuff. So that's going to be super fun.
Well, we're going to keep this sweet and short, but join us next week as we break down episode 8 and get all the drama. So where can they all find you on social media?
Guys, I'm at Laura L. Thomas on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me there.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at _Paulina Aguilar and on Instagram at Paulina Aguilar. And we will see you guys next week.
That's right. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.